tell me a story about whenever the I'll give you transportation store.
Oh, this was in France. We were going from one town to another town. I was in a CNR car, command car. It's like a half track with wheels. And the infantry was marching along the side of us with POWs, German POWs. They were guarding them as they were going by. And all of a sudden I heard a voice come out and say, I want transportation. I am an officer of the Reich. And all of a sudden I see this GI, this lanky little GI. I don't know, he must have been from the South, a rebel. And he says, you all want transportation? I'm going to give you transportation. And he pulls his rifle and hits him right in the head. Now, as he shot him, his hat flew off. And I jumped out of the CNR car and grabbed the hat because it's got braids on it and everything. So, anyway, he got his transportation dead. But everybody just looked the other way like nothing ever happened. And I sent the hat home, and my mother saw the blood on the hat. She threw it away.
What about the story where you wanted to get the eggs for your?
Oh, uh, my miss sergeant says, talking to the singer, this guy, Jewish kid, that was in my outfit, he was a sergeant. He says, we need eggs. We can get some eggs from the farmers around here. I appreciate it. I make it for the guys. I said, okay. So anyway, I go with him. He goes to his first house, farmhouse, beautiful place. And he goes in there and he's talking German to him because he's Jewish. So I listen, I don't say nothing. And pretty soon the guy comes out with a helmet full of eggs. Now, a helmet full is not going to feed the whole battalion, the company. So I said, do me a favor, singer, the next farmhouse, I'll go in and talk, all right? So he says, okay, all right, I'll let you do it. How are you going to do it? He says, you can't talk German. I said, I'll do it. Just leave it to me. Okay, so we go to this next farmhouse, and I walk in there, and there's a couple there. They're telling me something in German, but I don't pay no attention. I'm just telling them, haben Sie arm? That means have you any eggs? So they said, yeah, yeah. So they're going upstairs, up the steps. I guess the bedrooms are upstairs. I found out that they were upstairs. So he's leading, talking to me. He's trying to push me back so I don't go up with him. But I didn't pay no attention. I just tell him, Damashade, and I'm walking straight ahead. And we get up there, and he goes in there under the bed. He closes the door, goes, and I can hear he probably went under the bed. So he comes out with a few eggs. So I see these big baskets full of eggs. So I grabbed a whole basket. It must have been about 200-300 eggs. I brought it down, and meanwhile he's complaining to me about the commandant. This guy's going to report me, or something to that effect. And Singer's laughing. The guy that's with me, he's laughing at me while I'm doing this. So anyway, we walk out, and I said, see, that's where you get eggs. I said, not the way you get one lousy helmet full, you know? So anyway, that's the story of the egg story.
What about the story when you went on the mail route?
Oh, this guy's shut. He's a mailman for the company. Like he takes care of all the mail. He says, hey, George, can you get off your radio and CW set? That's a code set. And come with me. Can you take a ride? So I said, sure, if I can get somebody to replace it. Anyway, I got hold of a sergeant that knows a little bit about code, and he took over my radio. And I'm riding along with him in his Jeep. So we go through these towns left and right, and I'm saying, my God, I said, isn't that kind of suspicious? I don't see no white flags out the windows. Now let me explain. White flags is what they put out when the town has surrendered. So you know that the Americans took the town. So meanwhile, I'm looking, I don't see no white flags, and I see people sneaking, looking through the windows, like behind the curtains, and no white flags. So I said, the next town we get to, I said, I want to look at the signs, the road signs. He said, okay, fine. So we're driving along and all of a sudden come to this town and I look and I could read the map because that's what I did most of the time in my command car is to give the distances, how far we advanced and everything else. So I look at it and I said, hey, wait a minute. I pulled out the map out of the glove compartment. I said, you know, we're about 30 miles into enemy territory. You turn this damn thing around, let's get back. I jumped on the 50 caliber and I went back. And he was like frozen on the wheel. He couldn't say nothing because he didn't know what the hell was happening. But I was on a 50 caliber. I walked mountains and if anything came in our way, I would shoot. But nothing happened all the way back. And then he says to me, you want to go out again? Maybe I think I know how to get there. I said, forget about it. I said, take somebody else. Goodbye.
What about the time whenever you pulled the 45 on the guy when you were asleep?
Okay, here's what happened there. This was at nighttime. We pulled in a bunker, a German bunker. So we figured we get up early in the morning to have our action. And naturally, so everybody dished a sack, and there was straw beds in there. I'll never forget that. So I jumped on the bed. I was tired. I was on the radio for about 36 hours straight. And I couldn't even keep my eyes open. And my hands were frozen. So we slept there. And all of a sudden, when I woke up in the morning, I noticed a lot of cement was on top of me, like cement, concrete pieces. And I couldn't figure out what the hell it was until I looked up there and there's a big hole in the ceiling. It wasn't there that night when we pulled in. So then I'm hollering, where's everybody? I don't see a soul around. Uh-oh, I said, they forgot about me, left me behind. And, or else they're captured. There's a lot of million things run through your head. Oh, maybe they were all killed, or they don't even, what happened to these guys? So, finally, I went outside and looked and I seen all the vehicles in there. All the tanks, jeeps, command car, everything is in that area. So I said, where the hell are they? So I went back into the bunker and I heard some voices. So I went toward the voices and I seen them. It was like a basement. I didn't know there was a basement in there when we took it over. And I went down and they're all in there. So I said to one of the guys, hey, how come you didn't tell me they're shelling he says they were shelling the area. I said, well, how come you didn't wake me and tell me? He said, you were sound asleep and then when we woke you up, you pulled a 45 on us and told us to get back or I'll kill you. Leave me alone, I want sleep. And that's what happened. So to this day, I laugh at what happened, really. It was fun.
What about whenever you had to direct traffic?
This was first in England. What happened is, well, I'm in the lead car with the first sergeant. And we were going to Southampton because that's where we were supposed to leave from there to go to France. And this is, so I was supposed, my first sergeant said, get out and direct the traffic up this road. And the last vehicle is like a truck, like, motor maintenance truck. Okay, all right, fine. So I figured that's the last truck, jump on that truck and come along. I said, okay, fine. So I'm out there, and all the vehicles went by, and I don't see no truck. I'm looking for a truck, because that's the last vehicle. And all of a sudden I turn around and I see shells, like, on the beach. There's not a soul around. I'm all by myself, completely, and all I can see is shells breaking here and there. Later on, I found there were V-bombs. The Germans were shooting there from France to England. So finally, they came and found me. They sent the Jeep back. They said, how come you didn't get on the last vehicle? I said, because the last vehicle didn't go through me, the truck. I said, so that's why I was stuck there. So anyway, I fell asleep in this command car now. And now we're at Southampton, where we're supposed to do the set and go to France, invade France. So I fell asleep completely through the whole thing as we would cross the Channel, English Channel. So we got up there, and there was like fireworks all over the place. Okay, but another time it happened in France, where the same thing happened. First sergeant asked me again to get out and direct the traffic. They were on convoy. So I said, okay, fine, no problem. I jumped out there, same thing happened. The vehicles that were in the end must have been lost someplace, you know. So I'm waiting there, and all of a sudden, I look up in the sky, and I see a plane coming toward me, you know, and got closer and closer and closer. Now, I'm all alone there. I'm like a target sticking out, like a sore thumb. So I said, what the hell is this? It was a German Black Wolf coming down at me. We knew about planes because we were taught that. And I could swear to God that I was watching this German Jerry staring at me. That's how close it was on top of me. And all of a sudden he starts spraying. And first I thought he wasn't shooting at me. Because all around me, the dust was piled, raising up in the air. And I didn't hear the gun after the dust piled up. You know what I mean? Like you could see it all over the place. So I jumped into a ditch. Finally, the guy circled around a few times. I guess he thought he killed me and took off. And that was another experience with that business of leading the trucks and vehicles in the right direction. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. What about that time whenever you had your tanks ready and you heard tanks coming towards you?
Yeah.
But they're
At night,
yeah.
there were enemy tanks. What happened is they must have got lost too, like this is nighttime. So we figured these tanks are our own outfit. And in the morning we get out there and we say, well, we've seen a bunch of Germans with their hands over their heads waiting for it to be picked up because they were out of gas. So that's where they couldn't go nowhere at night. They didn't know that they were with us. They thought they were with German tanks. So that was another funny incident. You get out and there's all these Germans with their hands over their head.
Didn't you hear your tanks coming towards you and you had like no fire? You didn't have any ammunition?
And that was another time in the valley. We were on top of a valley dug in. And we were out of ammo, we were out of bullets, we were out of everything. And we figured we'd wait there till the Red Ball Express used to bring up gas and ammunition to us. They were the color guys. And that's what their job was. So we're waiting for them. Meanwhile, I took out my glasses out, binoculars, and looked down there. And I could see a dust. That's all. It's a valley. So I'm looking, what the hell is that? And then I didn't know what it was until I got a little closer. I could see there were tanks. Tiger Royals, 3 of them. So now we don't know what the hell to do. We're stranded more or less and waiting for, we're going to be POWs. That's the first thing you thought of. We can't fire at them, but they're probably fully loaded with ammo and everything, and they're coming toward us. So all of a sudden, I looked up on the sky, and I saw 3 planes coming. And now I didn't know they were German or American. They were kind of far away. And then all of a sudden they came closer, and I could see they dropped bombs right in the turrets of the 3 tanks. And we rested easy then. Now, they were beaten. So that's another experience we had. Another time we had was when we were the first tanks across the Seine River with pontoon bridges that we built. And we were the first tanks across the Seine, the Rhine River, near Mainz, I'll never forget, also the same way we were the first tanks across. But when we crossed the Seine River in France, in other words, we bivouacked on the other side of the river, and got under cover and all that, so everybody could get across, and then we'd proceed. But what happens is, I heard planes coming, and my captain said, "Okay, I guess they're American planes." He said, "Germans don't seem to have many planes out here." And I said, "No." I told him, "No, they don't sound like American planes." He said, "Throw out the signals, white signal sheets." I said, "Oh, no, I'm not going to do it." I said, because I'll tell you exactly where you're at. So I waited, and pretty soon I see, all of a sudden, it was like 4th of July. There was about 12 planes I could visually watch, come down where our anti-aircraft guns were knocking them down out of the air. And they landed all around, and one of them landed right close to us, about 6 feet away. And the pilot didn't get killed, but he landed down there, and he came out, he looked like about a 15 to 16-year-old kid. Pilot from Germany. And, before that happened, when they came by, the Germans finally found out that they were getting a shot with Dak-Air, so they started firing down there, and one of the branches of the twigs that I was under, the bush, cracked right in front of my nose. And it went right by, you could see it going by. Yeah, that's another experience.
What was that practical joke they played on you? You think? With the dead German?
Oh! The Americans always had something funny to do. They decided that in other words, this was a captured vehicle, I guess, German vehicle, and it was under a bridge where you couldn't see it unless you came right on top of it. That's where it was located. And we went there. All of a sudden, I could see a dead German manning a gun right in front of my face. The Jeep, the command car. we didn't know what the hell it was. All of a sudden we said, it's a dead soldier, so we kept going. But I said, look at those Yanks with their practical jokes. That was the trick. Yeah. How about the dead bodies? And one guy went out there and he's going through the pockets of the Germans that are killed in the field. And all of a sudden it belched or something, and he jumped up. And he got scared. He says, the guy's alive. No, he was dead. Well, anyway, he never did that again. He never went around looking for souvenirs. Yeah.
Got any other stories?
No, that's about it, I think. For now that I can remember.
Okay. Good.
Yeah? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, how many times have you heard these stories?
Oh,
50 times?
okay. Tell us about whenever you were so cold that you jumped in the fire and burned your eyebrows off.
Yeah, first, I want to say one thing. I'm very proud of my grandson, Joy, for buying me this jacket, because I love it. He gave it to me for Christmas. I appreciate what he did.
Run through those medals. Like, what were they?
Oh, they're campaign medals. That's the 5 campaign I was in.
You got your VFW hat on, right?
Yeah. Yeah, my VFW hat on, and I belong to both the American Legion and the VFW.
The fire.
Oh, one time it was so cold in Germany, snow and ice and everything else, that my hands, I see, when you operate a CW set or a radio, you have to use your fingers without gloves, and my hands were frozen. So this was around 4 in the morning, and some of the guys would build a fire so they keep warm too. So I went out of my command car and went right into it to get warm, and I singed my eyebrows, but the guys pulled me out of the fire, and they saved my life. I could have been burned.
Were you hallucinating or something? Or?
No, I was just so tired that you do crazy things. You want to get warm, so you jump into the fire like a jerk. I try to get warm. So they pulled me out of it. I'll never forget that.
Talk about Archie. What happened?
Oh, Archie. Archie was in the Air Force, and he was an aerial bombardier, in the rear bombardier. Anyway, I knew he was in. I didn't get no letters or anything from him because I know he was in action. He was leaving from England and bombing Germany. But all of a sudden, my captain came over to the command car and asked me, "Hey George, you got a brother named Archie?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Well, don't feel bad, but I just want to tell you what happened. He's missing in action." Now, missing in action means he could be dead, or he could be anything, right? So anyway, I was really upset, and they were watching me because I might do crazy things. They said, because you hear something like that, your brother, POW. So about 2 weeks after it, I got another telegram. He got another telegram. The captain came over and told me, "George, your brother is a POW, prisoner of war." I said, "Oh, okay, fine. At least it's better than being missing in action. You don't know if he's dead or alive." So anyway, he came out of the war okay. He had a Purple Heart and everything else that went with it. But he was when the war was over, the Russians liberated where he was at, and he went back to the U.S. safe and sound. And well, what was I going to say? Oh. What was the other question?
The patent speech.
Oh, in England, that speech that you see in the movie Patton. Well, I was in that group there and listened to his speech. Used a lot of foul language, but everybody liked him the way he talked. And during the war, all the guys were imitating him. I wore a Luger on one side and a 45 on the other, like he had two guns. He had two pearl handle guns, where I had a Luger and a 45. Everybody imitated him. They all loved him, really.
What about all the stuff that you sent to your mother that you collected in Germany?
Well, when we hit the town, sometimes I collected sabers. I had about 25 of them already. All different designs. I don't know. So I had them so long that they got rusted in a command car. So I threw them out. But we hit a factory where there was uniforms for the Russian front, German uniforms for the Russian front, where they had fur-lined vests and hats, fur-lined hats, with furs on it. So with the swastika and all, it was nice. So I sent it home to my mother. It got there, and finally she gave it all away. All the kids in the neighborhood, she gave each one. My father-in-law ended up with one, I think. He had kept it for a while. And I don't know what he did with it, but yeah.
Where would you get it at? Would you get it going into towns?
It was in town, yeah. It was in town. Yeah, it was a factory, a fur factory.
But you get other stuff, and once you take over town, you guys would get stuff from that town, right?
Oh yeah, you collect anything that's pertaining with knives, swords, and Lugers, all guns, also cameras. They used to confiscate all kinds of cameras, and a lot of people took silverware and sent it home. One guy sent home his grandfather clock, and I sent him this big thing. It looked like a casket. I said, "What are you doing there?" He says, "I'm gonna send my wife a grandfather clock." I said, "It'll never get there." I said, "That thing is like a casket." So he said, "Well, we'll see. Take a chance." Anyway, about 6 months later, I found out that they received the clock. And there was another guy that sent home Jeep parts. He took a whole Jeep apart, all the little pieces, and sent it home piece by piece. And he assembled it when he got home. And that was a funny incident. I would never believe if something like that would go through the mail.
But St. Mary Greece.
Oh, St. Mary Greece is where we lost our colonel by sniper. Immediately. That was the beginning of the war. And then we kept fighting, going forward until we reached St. Lo, where the hell was knocked out of us. We were getting beaten up like crazy. And all of a sudden, General Patton landed and came at that time. He didn't land D-Day or anything like that, but he came then with his divisions, 3rd Army and 7th Army, and they fought the Germans and fought them back. Otherwise, we would have ended up in England again, back to England, start all over again. That's how bad we were getting beat there. They call it the Bloody Battle of St. Louis for that reason.
St. Louis?
We were the first tanks across the Seine, not across the Maginot Line. We were the first tanks across that, our battalion, and also the Siegfried Line. We also were the first tanks across there.
But the second wave of D-Day, you were in the second wave, right?
Yeah, second wave we were in, actually. Well, first of all, we were supposed to land D-Day by outfit, but our colonel took sick. So what happens is, they held us back and sent the 747s. We were 749s. They were 747. They sent them ahead of us, and they all practically got all wiped out. Right in the English Channel. And then we went a little later, and we got through, but there was still fireworks all over the place. I mean, there was bombing, like, you don't know who's who. It was confusion, a lot of confusion.
That's bad.
Well, guess what? Tomorrow is my birthday, January 5th, right? And I'll be 77 years old. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because my grandson's bugging me. He wanted me to do this. He wanted to keep a souvenir of some sort.
So say hello to your future.
1999.
It's 1999.
Oh, yeah, the date. He wants me to tell you the date was 1999, January 4th, 1999. So it keeps a little reference.
All right, well, great. Good job.
Thank you. I feel funny doing this, you know. I'm gonna send, Joey's gonna send, do some more copies for me, and I'm gonna send it to Mark, Archie, Kiko, and Dee Dee. Well, I should get one. David, for the little girls to watch, the girl and grandpa. And Valerie.
And say hello to the future generations.
Yeah, you gotta say hello to the future generations right now. And what was I gonna say? I'm all confused. That's it. That's it for now. Love yous all.